mugs and blankets, t-shirts, shorts, dresses, slides with my art, my graphics on there because I am an artist. I do draw. All right. So here we go. I'm going to, all right. Welcome to the midday motivation that happens here every Day, 12:15 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for joining me today. You are in for a treat. Either you will hear some motivation, inspiration, new information, confirmation, and or education. I'm going to give it all to you. Somebody will only hear confirmation, but I'm going to give it all. I'm going to give it all. So whatever that is for you, okay? Whatever that is for you, whatever information you hear on here, you have to put it in the category of what that does for you. If that was some new information, if it was an education, right? All right, here we go. So I pulled up some things that I want to share. But first, I want to start with my Affirm journal, my Today I Affirm journal. So I have been consistent. With writing every day. So I've been on here several times saying I'm gonna do it. Some days I'll do it, some days I won't. You know what I mean? That's when we try, because that's what we're doing. When we don't fully do it and give the full all-out effort, it's called try. So to try is to lie, trying is lying. So that part will have you behind the ball. That will have you not where you want to be. And I'm not trying to be where I don't want to be no more. Right? I'm not trying to be where I don't want to be no more. Y'all feel me? Y'all get me? So today I affirm a journal that nurtures self-care. So some of y'all are aware of where I get my books from, where I get some of my self-help books from. So I'm showing all three platforms. I'm on YouTube Live, I'm on Facebook Live, and I'm on IG Live. So this book came from Five Below. That table, sometimes you can't get me out of there. And I'm like, okay, look, I'm gonna just get one more book. I'm gonna just get one more. So I got this book, and it has prompts for you to go off of. Okay, so it has something where, listen, if you're not used to journaling, you don't know what to write, you don't know where to start, the first initial place to start is what is on your mind? What are you thinking about? What's your thoughts? So writing your thoughts down. Okay, putting them down on paper. And then you can reference back to them. Years later, you look like, man, I came a long way from how I used to think, what I used to do. All right, so today, I don't think I shared this one because I had skipped the page the last time. So I think I'm on to this one. List 5 fears that are stopping you from moving forward. So if you're looking to do better, be better, have more, have better, do more, all those things, list 5 fears that are stopping you from moving forward. What's stopping you from moving forward? What is stopping you from moving forward for real? It ain't nobody else. It ain't nobody else but you. Where you are right now is because of you. There's elements that have played a part. You know, there are some people that have, may not have been supportive. And, there are some things that you can blame or point the finger at and say, well, if it wasn't for them, I could have did X, Y, Z. Okay, we're going to learn from those things. That's what we're going to do with that. We're going to learn from those things. All right. And then the next one I want to prompt you to write about is, how are you showing up for yourself? How are you showing up for yourself? I don't know if I did this one last week or not, but I'm sure some of y'all weren't on there last week. And I'm sure who was on here last week probably didn't write and journal or prompt anything last week. So either this is a reminder or this is new to you. So how are you showing up for yourself? And then we're going to talk about boundaries. That's what I didn't put in my title. We're going to talk about boundaries. We're going to talk about boundaries. I got a book from Amazon. That's one of my favorite places as well to get books. Boundaries. So let's go into boundaries real quick. So this book here, the Set Boundaries Workbook. See, I like things where I can start to implement. The Set Boundaries Workbook. Okay. That is practical exercises for understanding your needs and setting healthy limits. Nidra Glover Tawwab, Tawwab. Not sure how you pronounce it, but you get the picture. All right, so I started reading this book a couple days ago, and I really already got something out of it. Like, wow, didn't know that. Didn't know that. So I tend to have some rigid boundaries. Now, I read some of this last week, so I'm gonna pick up where I left off at. So I have some rigid boundaries. I have some healthy boundaries, and I have some porous boundaries. So we're gonna talk about all three real quick. Real quick. This ain't gonna take long. Hold on, where's that? Okay. So I think I read that last week. Oh, I should have put this on Do Not Disturb. All right. So type 1, porous boundaries. Unhealthy boundaries are porous and rigid boundaries. So I have some unhealthy boundaries. Like now, when you think of boundaries, you like, for me, I automatically think, okay, boundaries, period, like are healthy. I don't, I feel like, it goes without saying when you're setting boundaries, you're setting healthy boundaries. It goes without labeling it as healthy. I already considered boundaries to be healthy, is what I'm saying to you. So type 1 is porous boundaries. So I know some of y'all will relate and you'll think and say, wow, I have some porous boundaries. So porous boundaries are weak or poorly expressed, and they are unintentionally harmful to you. Unintentionally harmful to you. Okay, the porous boundaries, which are unhealthy, they're unintentionally harmful to you. But the bottom line is they're harmful to you. Okay, so they lead to feeling depleted, overextending yourself, depression, anxiety, and unhealthy relationship dynamics. Okay, unhealthy relationships don't always mean in a relationship with your spouse or your significant other, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, or your husband. It does not always pertain just to those dynamics. Porous boundaries are often the cause of enmeshment, lacking emotional separation between you and another person. Okay, that goes into codependency. Codependency is not a good thing. Unhealthy closeness and people pleasing. People pleasing. Stop people pleasing. You can say no without having to explain yourself. I know I'm guilty of it. I always feel like, you're going to hear me say that a lot because I am a feeler, and I make a lot of decisions based off of how I feel. Okay. So I'm just being transparent with my people today. People pleasing, not being able to say no when you want to say no. Man, you got to say no and not have to explain yourself. Now, if you want to explain yourself, have at it, but you don't have to. It is not a requirement. If I say no, there's a period that ends that no. There's not always something that has to come behind it. Now, if they want to know why, sure, they can ask. And it's up to you to decide what you want to share on, if you want to explain yourself or tell them why. Okay, so examples of porous boundaries: enmeshment, spending no time apart, and usually, best friends, young people. A lot of times, it's the younger generation who tends to want to spend every day with each other. No time apart, right? So as much time as they can spend together, they want to spend together. But a lot of times, it's in your relationships. Entangling other people's emotions and thoughts with your own. No separation. Sharing everything because it's expected. Seeing differences as a threat, when that's what makes us individuals and who we are, and as unique as we are. We don't have to play into what someone else's desires are. It doesn't necessarily mean we're being selfish. But we don't have to consider our differences a threat. To disagree, right? That's famous. We can agree to disagree. Well, I don't agree with that. Okay. I'm not going to beat you over the head because you don't agree with that. Honestly, I don't want you to agree with everything because I want different perspective for my own growth, right? So let's take advantage of that. Let's take advantage of the differences that we have amongst each other. Agreeing with everything. I don't agree with everything, and I'm such a devil's advocate, and I hate to use the word devil, but that's the term. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm just the lawyer. I'm just always throwing other things out there. I'll say I'm the lawyer. I'll be the lawyer. I don't want to be the devil's advocate. I don't want to speak for the devil, right? I don't want to be the voice for the devil, but I just like to throw things out there that some of us may not think about when we're putting something out there. Well, have you thought about this? Well, make sure this ain't. People always think I want to debate. A healthy debate, I'm up for it. I'm always up for a healthy debate. That's growth. We grow from our healthy debates. But some people don't know how to debate in a healthy manner. People get too into their feelings about it, get too serious. And if you don't agree, it's woo, they about to pass out. It's not that serious. I don't have to agree with you. Let's embrace our differences. Embracing our differences. We learn from each other because we all have different experiences in life. No one person has the exact same experience. It's impossible. Now that's something that's impossible. Okay? Believing it's your job to fix other people. Some of us are so controlling and want people to see it our way that we just have to control everything and think we have to fix them, think we have to give them the solution. Now, sometimes they have to experience it and learn on their own. You can suggest, you can give your opinion all day, but I was told give your opinion only if it's asked for. But sometimes, or ask permission. Can I give you my opinion? Right? Get permission to give your opinion. Get permission to give your opinion because sometimes people don't want your opinion. They don't care about it. It's going to go in one ear out the other. You could have been productive doing something else for your own self or somebody else who wants your opinion. Save that energy for them. Okay? Because sometimes nobody wants your opinion. So we can't focus on trying to fix people. Maintaining all the same thoughts and values. Oh, that is stagnation. That is being stagnant. Let's not be stagnant. Stagnation versus elevation. So many of us need to elevate out of the space that we've been in for years, for decades. I know I experienced being stagnant in the same type of thinking. You know, I was growing in some areas and some spaces and, recognizing some things, but I was still stuck in a space for over a decade and doing the same thing that wasn't getting me necessarily the results I wanted. So we have to come from maintaining all the same thoughts and values and place ourselves and surround ourselves by people who have the things that we desire, have the high level of thinking that we desire. They look to have the growth that we want. They look to have we can hear the knowledge that they have, that they put out there, right? So that's where we need to focus and elevate in our values and not maintaining the same thoughts. Never making decisions without including others. Make your decision and stand on it. You don't need nobody else's opinion in some decisions. Some decisions, I do like to get input. I do like to get another perspective. Because why? Because if I'm in a space where I'm not excited about, then hey, let me ask somebody, some wise counsel. Let me ask someone who knows more than I do, who's lived a little longer than I have. And also the younger generation can teach us some things for sure. They can teach us some things. They know of some things that I'm not in tune with. They know a lot of things that I'm not in tune with. I can learn from the younger generation as well. So it's not always the wise counsel from someone who is I'm trying to refrain from using the word older, but who is my elder, who is age more than mine. All right, so you can make some decisions without having anybody else's input. So work on that if you know that you are always seeking validation or seeking someone else to help you make a decision. Being able to say no, I just spoke about that. Being able to say no and leaving it at that. Supporting unhealthy habits that keep people dependent. Man, oh man, I know a lot of us are supporting some people's bad habits. We are supporting a lot of people's bad habits, and I'm speaking about us as a whole. We condone it, we enable, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy. That's not healthy for them or you, because then that's on your conscience. That's on your conscience. All right, so people are not able to exist without help from others. Needing people is not codependence. Okay, we need each other. We need each other. I just saw a video yesterday. He was on stage speaking about people and how we have this misconception that we don't need each other. We need each other. Enmeshing with them and losing who you are is codependence. Okay, getting so engulfed and engaged with that situation that you are codependent, making it your job to rescue them from problems of their own doing without being asked is codependence. So these porous boundaries causes codependence, and that's not healthy. Mutual closeness is healthy, mutual closeness, but you have to define what that looks like. But we get with people so quickly, we don't even talk about some of these things. They just end up happening, and it's unhealthy, and then it can become toxic. So it's just a festering problem that we don't recognize. Mutual closeness is healthy, but entangling who you are and how you feel based on someone else is not healthy. So I am focusing on healthy boundaries. So type 2 is rigid boundaries, strict rules. So I put up a post a couple weeks ago, it might have been last month or so, and I put up a post where it said boundaries versus boundaries versus barriers. So I was considering rigid boundaries barriers, where you're just totally blocking people out. You're just not even so here we go. Rigid boundaries involve building walls to keep others out as a way to keep yourself safe. I am guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Rigid boundaries, strict rules. But staying safe by locking yourself in is also unhealthy and leads to a whole another set of problems. Rigid boundaries are a self-protective mechanism meant to build distance. And I have definitely done that over time. Through life experiences, when relationships don't work out, you start to build up this wall. I know I built up a wall. Next relationship didn't work out. I built up some walls. I got some more bricks. I laid some more bricks. Like, oh, see, see, okay. But see, that's because I wasn't conscious of how I was vibrating, what energy I was really putting out there to attract what I really wanted. I didn't know. I didn't have a clue. Like, there's a strategy on how to live life. It just ain't that simple. You're not just born and taught some things and you on, off and running. It is a lifelong journey. It is a daily practice to learn about yourself. We don't know so much about ourselves, but yet we want to pick a mate. I saw what that looked like. And this ain't no shade on my mates. This ain't no shade on the men that I've picked. This is no shade on that. There's no shade on them. But I wasn't in a good mental headspace. I wasn't in a good, healthy space to pick anything. So I was picking from unconsciously a toxic space. YouTube, I'm going to show y'all my t-shirt before the video is out. But the way my camera set up on the laptop where the YouTube is live at, they can't see my t-shirt. All they see is the little blue part. They don't see you got to work on yourself more than you work on anything else. And that's what I talk about on my MINDAY, midday motivations. This typically comes from a fear of vulnerability or a history of being taken advantage of. What I just said. What did I just say? On my past relationships, I based my next relationship from my past relationships and just kept stacking the bricks when that relationship didn't work out, when the next relationship didn't work out, when the next relationship didn't work out. People with rigid boundaries don't allow exceptions to their stringent rules, even when it would be healthy for them. Now you may end up stumbling upon somebody who is going to mold you and really want to love you and be healthy in the relationship, but you so damaged and you don't want to open up and be vulnerable no more because you thought you did, and look what happened. And so now you just laying the bricks. I use the word bricks now for what BRICS stands for. BRICS, with Britain, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Yeah, that's another story for another day. I want to focus on us. I want to focus on us right now. So rigid boundaries lead to counter dependency, where we start to believe that we don't need anyone. Counter dependency. I didn't know it was such a thing. I just knew codependency and dependency. Counter dependency. See, you learn something every day, especially if you surround yourself by the right people, if you're watching the right things, if you're listening to the right stuff. Think the strong one who believes that they can handle everything without help. You think the strong one. Oh, Brazil. What I say, Britain? Thank you, Shaitan. Love you. Oh, I think I said Britain the last time. Brazil. I keep getting the two obviously mixed up. But thank you. Yes, Brazil, y'all. BRICS, Brazil. Okay. So yeah, our currency is about to be. It was already decreasing and diminishing. But anyway, I want to focus on us. So here's a checklist. Use the list below to check off signs that your boundaries are either porous or rigid. So porous, oversharing, codependency, enmeshment, and inability to say no, people pleasing, dependency on feedback from others, paralyzing fear of being rejected, and accepting mistreatment. Accepting mistreatment. Accepting mistreatment. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Those are porous boundaries. And a lot of us are guilty of having these porous boundaries that we need to face and get rid of. Rigid boundaries. Never sharing, building walls, avoiding vulnerability, cutting people out, having high expectations of others, and enforcing strict rules. Pretty much like unrealistic things in order to have a healthy relationship with whomever it may be. When your boundaries feel unhealthy, do they tend to be porous or rigid? So healthy boundaries, I'm going to go over this real quick and then I'm going to get to my next topic. Healthy boundaries. When boundaries are healthy, you are clear about your needs. You say no when needed. You respect other people's boundaries. That's another thing too. Respecting others' boundaries. I know I'm guilty of crossing some people's boundaries. Like, oh, it ain't that serious. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not for me to say. That's not for me to say. And I love using myself as an example because I never want anyone that's listening to me or someone that is looking to relate to me to look at me like I'm saying these things like I'm not guilty of anything, like I got it all together. Like I'm coming off like I'm arrogant and perfect. I never want anybody to have that take on me. I'm not going to be able to help what take people have, okay? I can't control that. But I'm making my effort for it not to come off that way. But guess what? Somebody's still going to label me as something else. Something that I'm not doing or something I'm not intentionally doing. All right, so when your boundaries are healthy, you are clear about your needs, you say no when needed, you respect other people's boundaries, and you share yourself in ways that feel comfortable to you. In ways that feel comfortable to you. Healthy boundaries in one relationship don't mean healthy boundaries across relationships. Because certain boundaries are going to be different across the board. Okay? What's this boundary for you may not be a boundary for somebody else. They may not be so bothered. They don't care. That it doesn't bother them, right? Oh, listen to an example. I was raised to be sarcastic. I was taught it. It was almost instilled. I was born with it. Both grandparents on both my parents' side was just sarcastic. So that's how me and my cousins, that's how we communicate with each other, but everybody don't rock with sarcasm. Everybody don't receive your sarcasm. Some people are offended by your sarcasm. So I had to learn that. So that's a boundary for them. How I was raised, that wasn't boundaries for us. We got it in. Okay, so you can be excellent at setting boundaries at work and with your friends, but struggle with setting boundaries with your parents. For example, your fears and how people have made you feel comfortable or uncomfortable in a relationship may determine the level of difficulty you have in setting boundaries in certain areas, right? At any point while going through these exercises, says take a moment to stop and be mindful of your breath. Focus your attention on breathing in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. And that brings me to a point I want to share briefly. There is a doctor who is said to be the only doctor that practiced these breathing mechanisms to take you back to 25 years of age, to take you back as if you were 25 again. And the technique works. It strengthens your stomach muscles. I mean, you have to use your chest and your stomach, and it's amazing. It's never heard of, and a lot of us are so unaware of it. And we could save so many lives with just this breathing technique that he has taught us. And it's over time you have to build up the strength to where it can take you back to 25 years old. But the first meeting we had with him, and he like, you have to practice this every day, and then you'll be able to breathe this fast, in and out the nose. You know how we do, right? That's typically my breaths when I meditate. But what I learned from him, and he's looking for students, so I'm going to be a student. I'm going to be able to learn and teach it because it's going to save lives. It is going to prevent those who get their lungs attacked by the pneumonia, the so-called COVID. They will be able to fight it off. Their lungs our lungs aren't built up. We breathe on autopilot. We don't do the proper breathing exercises. The breathing exercises across the board that everybody pretty much knows is that in and out slowly, right? That ain't even it. That's just part of it. That ain't even it. So we've been bamboozled on that end on how to keep disease out by warming up our blood cells without having to exercise, run, jump, skip, jump and rope, sit-ups. I'm doing, basically, he said the breathing techniques is having you do 10 crunches in one breathing exercise. Amazing. All right, so it has an exercise right here and whatnot, but just wanted to cover that real quick because I know a lot of us are lacking in setting boundaries, setting healthy boundaries. Okay. Here we go. So let me go here. Let me see what time I'm looking at. All right, so I'm just 28 minutes. I usually do my midday motivation 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes I went a few minutes over my 45 when it's just so much that I'm covering, and sometimes I might linger a little bit over in a subject matter when I like to expound on what I'm sharing. And sometimes it just be like that. There's no, real control over it. If I know that I need to get it out, and I feel like I need to get it out. If I know I need to get this out, I need to get this across. This is the whole point and reason why I'm doing what I do, is to get this information out. So important to me and you. All right. So I want to play this Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks has a plethora of videos, and I just love how she explains things. She has a plethora of videos, and she's on YouTube. So please follow her, Abraham Hicks, just how you spell Abraham, Abraham, and Hicks is her last name, Hicks. And so the way she explains things are just, for me, it's confirmation, and some of it is new information. And the way she explains it, it just clicks. It just hit different. Okay. So I'm going to play this for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about it. Then, you know what? I got to learn how to add videos to my YouTube. Although Instagram and Facebook won't get the same effect because it'll be on YouTube, but then you'll just have to go to my YouTube. All right, here we go. I'll be able to put the video inside the YouTube, you know how they put the video up and play it or whatever, side by side or whatever. Or however it go.
In terms of manifestation.
Okay.
But we want you to understand that you cannot, with your action, fight the current that you have been offering vibrationally. The current that you've been offering vibrationally is what's happening. Don't you think that it is time that with all subjects, even like the subject of medicine, that people begin to approach it from the causation stage rather than from the trying to build a higher dike stage? And we can understand why surgery or medicine might soothe when you are in that place of trauma, but it's a small soothing and it doesn't change anything really until you get back to the heart of the vibration that caused you to be in that predicament to begin with. You don't have to go back and undo anything. You can stand right where you are and utilize the guidance system that is within you, that is lovingly knowing everything that you are and everything that you want in relationship to where you are vibrationally about it, that is giving you vibrational feedback in every moment to help you know the vibrational relationship between these two powerful points of vibrational relativity. Isn't that good to know?
I'm gonna play that again.
So what somebody else thinks is irrelevant in this, isn't it? What somebody else has manifested is irrelevant in that. So what you're wanting to do is collect the data that makes you close the gap. And sometimes we see you seeming to deliberately collect the data that widens the gap. And we understand why you do it. Anytime you're standing in a place apart from who you are, you can feel that something's gone terribly wrong. And there is this feeling of wanting to justify to someone why things are not better than they should be. And so as you drum up or amplify or gather the statistics of what has gone wrong in order to support your position of being where you don't want to be, we're wanting to say to you, not helpful. And nobody that matters in terms of source or in terms of your vibrational relationship cares about how you got there. Magellan never says, where have you been? It is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is, where am I in relationship to where I want to be?
That part. Where am I in relationship to where I want to be? Where are you in relationship to where you really, truly want to be?
It's simple, isn't it? Simple to hear, simple conceptually. And in time, it will become simple to you as you stand in the moment of negative emotion. Say, I'm marching towards something that when I get there, I'm going to like. Now, I can change my course of action now, or I...
Okay, so we're marching to somewhere we know we don't want to be. When we react, when we do things that we know it's not going to give us the results we're looking for. If I don't work out, if I don't do my breathing practices, if I don't do certain things, then I'm running in the direction I don't want to go. So change our course of action.
I can tempt fate a little more and see how far I can actually march before it manifests. I can continue to justify, or I can continue to wallow in my discomfort. Because after all, I've done it quite a long time and nothing that really bad has happened.
Right.
And we say, you get to choose. And no one is unhappy if you receive manifestations that are different from what you want. But we do want you to know that your true joy will ever only come when you are a vibrational match to who you really are. You can't have become this bright, shining new being with all these bright, shining new ideas and be over here, not yet a vibrational match to it, and really be in your ultimate joy. So
are you in your true vibrational match? Or are you thinking about the things you don't have, the things you want? How you not where you want to be? Or where are you vibrating at? You need to be vibrating in, I got this. I'm well on track. I'm doing XYZ. Like, you have to implement the activities to even make you feel good about the direction you're going. Or you're just going to keep going in the direction you don't want to go. So you're just going to keep driving knowing you're supposed to be going to Texas, but you're driving up north. and you know that's not the direction. You're gonna just keep driving. Oh, I was supposed to get off at that exit. You're gonna keep you're going to get off the exit and turn around. Get off the exit, y'all. Get off the exit. Remove yourself from the places and the direction you don't want to go. You don't want to be overweight. You don't want to keep the same weight. Get off the exit. Turn around. Turn that thing around. Get yourself on track in the direction you want to go.
Optimum creative experience is for the contrast to continually give here, not yet a vibrational match to it, and really be in your ultimate joy. So the optimum creative experience is for the contrast to continually give birth to new intentions, and you to just continually reach for the best feeling thought that you can find, so that you become steadily a vibrational match to the new intentions. And then the way your life plays out is you don't feel frustration about what's not yet manifested. Instead, you feel the life-giving qualities of these new intentions that are summoning life through you. You are eternal beings, and you cannot be eternal and complete at the same time. They do not go together. If you are eternal, then you are growing. And if you are growing, then there's stuff not yet done. And if there's stuff not yet done, then you are incomplete. But when you are incomplete and happily optimistic, now you are living life in the way you did from your non-physical vantage point when you decided to jump into this time-space reality. You said there'll be plenty of things that I adore, plenty of things that I don't like so much, and out of all of that will be born my unique intentions for me. And Source says, and when you find them big or small, we'll be right there with you, because no one better than you can decide from your vantage point. And when you decide, we'll be there.
Yes.
And you'll have guidance that will let you know whether you're there or not.
Come on, let's go.
We're done. Go to the beach.
Get off the exit.
In 2023, affiliate marketing is making a big comeback. This is my prediction. Hear me out.
Yeah, that's an ad. So
whether you're there or not, we're done.
Okay, so that speaks volume. You have to manage your thoughts. Instead of manage your thoughts. I have to manage my thoughts on a regular basis. I got to manage my thoughts on a second by second basis. Seriously. I have to manage my thoughts. I have to redirect thoughts. Now, I don't have to redirect my thoughts every second, but there's moments where I have to redirect my thoughts. Something has triggered me to think about this. I don't want to think about this right now. I don't want to be vibrating in that energy right now. I want to be vibrating in the energy on the direction I'm looking to take my life, on the success I'm looking to have, on the money I'm looking to have, on the better relationships I'm looking to build. Okay, that's where I want to take my energy. I don't want to be thinking about, something that's counterproductive. Okay, I think I wanted y'all to hear this last part.
Go to the beach. So, you have some things you want to talk about? We see our value to you in helping you to close the vibrational gap. We do not see our value in the way some of you have been approaching life. Humans often, when they see a condition that makes them feel good, they vote for more conditions like that. And when they see a condition that causes them to feel bad, then they push against and try to eradicate the earth from those conditions. And what we're wanting you to understand is this is an attraction-based universe. It is all about inclusion. When you give your attention to something wanted and say yes to it, you include it in your vibration.
Yes.
When you see something you do not want and you shout no at it, you include it in your vibration.
Okay.
So
whether you give attention to something you don't want or give attention to something you do want, either way, you are giving attention to it to include it in your vibration. I need her to say that again.
There's no such thing as no in this vibration against and try to eradicate the earth from those conditions. And what we're wanting you to understand is this is an attraction-based universe. It is all about inclusion. When you give your attention to something wanted and say yes to it, you include it in your vibration. Mm-hmm. When you see something you do not want and you shout no at it, you include it in your vibration. So there's no such thing as no in this vibrationally based universe. We see our value to you in assisting you, not in trying to figure out how to change the condition so that you can feel better in response to the condition. That's conditional love, isn't it? I feel love under these conditions, but not under those conditions. And we say, no, that's not who you are. Who you are is love. Figure out how to change the condition so that you can feel better in response to the condition. That's conditional love, isn't it? I feel love under these conditions, but not under those conditions. And we say, no, that's not who you are. Who you are is love. You feel love under all conditions, which means you have the ability to focus your mind in such a way that you stay in vibrational concert with that which is love, with that which is source. You don't need to demand that conditions change. And so sometimes you'll want to talk about something your son is doing, or something your mother is doing, or something that your employer is doing. Stay in vibrational concert with that which is love.
Stay in vibrational
with that which
concert.
is source. You don't need to demand that conditions change. And so sometimes you'll want to talk about something your son is doing, or something your mother is doing, or something that your employer is doing. And if they would do it differently, you would feel better. And you think that your questions to us are about how you can work the energy just right to make them do the things that when they do them, then you will be able to observe them and you will feel better.
Man.
And we say, surgery, we understand. Medicine, we understand. Bulldozers on the dike, we understand.
Right,
and we understand your motivation for wanting to do that. We do understand trying to keep your head above water just for one more moment while you get another breath of air. But what we are really wanting you to understand is that unless you do something about your vibrational countenance, nothing can change. Nothing long-term will change. That's certain. Haven't you found it interesting that a new disease pops up and humanity finds the cure only to find another disease popping up? Don't you think it's interesting that you don't get to the end of those diseases? And the reason you don't is because you have not yet got to the end of pushing against things. So we'll talk about unconditional love, which is finding vibrational alignment regardless of the condition, holding the thought of San Diego, even though I'm out in the desert, so that my emotional journey has me in alignment, which means my physical journey, my action journey must catch up with it. Good. Begin right here.
Okay. I hope y'all caught that. I had to take notes on that video. I'm a note taker anyway, but I had to really take note on what she said. And was it in this one? I might have wrote it. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I think I wrote it in this one. This is my journal notebook. But it was so good that I was like, I'm putting this in my journal notebook. You must feel love in all conditions. Don't focus on changing the condition so that you can feel better. Don't focus on changing the condition so you can feel better in response to the condition, because that's conditional love. You know what we talk all about? Unconditional love, right? Stay in vibrational concert with love, which is source, so you don't need to demand conditions to change. I hope y'all caught that. Do something about your vibrational continence, or nothing long-term will change. Stop pushing against things. Stop pushing against it. Don't put your energy in that space. Finding vibrational alignment regardless of the condition, holding the thought of what I want so that my emotional journey has me in alignment, which means my physical journey, my action journey must catch up with it. I hope y'all interpret that and make it your own, and live better. All right, so I want to share this too before I go. Here I go. Let me go in here. Okay, get your workout on. Okay, so 19 Keys is someone that I've been watching for a long time, and he makes some very valid points. He teaches some good knowledge. He's surrounding himself by others that came before him that have knowledge that he doesn't have, and he's still learning. So we're all on a learning journey. Like, the whole life thing is to learn and evolve, elevate. So here's this poem I want y'all to hear.
If you're a king, then you deserve to get catered to. And if you treat me like a queen, it's only right I return the favor too. So I'm waking you up to the dinner that I made for you, and if you're good, then I'm waking you up to some other things I saved for you. Your little angel in doubt to remind you you're gonna make it through. Your partner in war to tell you nobody built like you. You got an ice cream truck, then you know I'm out there and I'm scooping too. And since I know how much you do, I never forget to sit and pray for you. I heard those girls love you out there. Oh, that's kind of funny. Should I love them too? The only difference we share are the reasons that we in love with you. They love what you can do. I love the things I see inside of you. And he says, falling for you was easy for me. You so much different from the chicks I often would meet. You waited for me while I played in the streets, calling my phone like, when you gonna be the man I thought you could be? So anything you ask, I'm gonna fall at your feet, because when you're a queen, you deserve to get catered to. And since you treat me like a king, it's only right I return that favor too. Thank you, everybody.
That was good. Just wanted to share that because way too often, and a lot of us are guilty of having meaningless relationships with people, meaningless flings, meaningless fly-by-nights, meaningless one-night stands for a moment of pleasure. Does that really elevate you to the next level? It does not. You know, we can say, well, maybe that's part of your journey. You know, maybe you had to learn from that experience. But does that really take you to the next level? All right, so I just wanted to share that because we have a lot of people in the world that are just doing whatever out in the streets, not really, you know, doing meaningful things and things that are going to elevate each other and take each other to the next level. You know, really truly pouring into each other. You know, like in her poem, she said, you know, when are you going to be the man that you're supposed to be? You're not supposed to be out here doing all this nonsense. You're not supposed to, you know, fester these meaningless relationships. Okay. So I just wanted to share that, to get some insight on how we need to elevate amongst each other as men and women, and, you know, same-sex relationships, whatever it is that you're into. It's you know, really seeing value in each other and really lifting each other up and not continuing on with these meaningless relationships. All right, so Nicey Keys says he doesn't trust people who eat pork, smoke cigarettes, and eat McDonald's. Now, y'all hear me talk about McDonald's all the time. I really hate that growing up, and even to this day, that people look to McDonald's to be a treat on the weekend or on Fridays. You know, we're going to get McDonald's. Like, that's a good thing. And it's totally the opposite. It's totally the opposite. McDonald's, I wish I would see you in the McDonald's drive-thru. I'm not judging you, because I used to smash out on that fish sandwich. When I stopped eating meat, I was like, ooh, I'm going to give me a fish sandwich. Like, I used to eat McDonald's for years. I get it. The fries bang. I get it. Yes, I was there at one point. And I know it's a process for you to get there too. If you still kind of, you know, do the McDonald's things here and there, and Taco Bell's and Burger Kings and Wendy's, though that's not true food for us. That is just you might as well eat plastic. Okay. But listen to what he said.
What food should black people stop eating? Well, you know, the number one notorious enemy of black people is pork. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just told my cousin today, I said, he was talking about his blood pressure was high. Yeah. I said, man, you got to stop eating that pork, man. I don't really trust people who eat pork. It's like I don't trust people who still smoke cigarettes.
Listen.
And eat McDonald's. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's such an obvious thing that's bad for you. And if you can't make a decision to change this, how can I trust your other decision makers?
Come on. Hold on.
Keep a plant.
You know?
How can I trust? Okay. It was such a good way to describe how he views that. So if I can't trust you to love on you better, and it's an obvious thing that we know we shouldn't be eating, because that pork is usually the first thing when we all become conscious of, oh, we shouldn't be eating this. When we become conscious of not eating certain things, pork is usually the first thing to go. then beef, then chicken, then fish, right? Pork. So listen to the other education that's in this piece too. But how can I trust you?
What food should black people stop eating?
Here,
Well, you know the most
that.
number one notorious enemy of black people is pork.
Hold on.
I just told my cousin today, I said he was talking about his blood pressure was high. Yeah. I said,
Maybe
man,
we
you
need
gotta
to hear
stop
this
eating
again.
that pork, man. I don't really
But listen
trust
to the
people.
next thing he talks about.
It's like I don't trust people who still smoke cigarettes and eat McDonald's. You know what I mean? Because it's like
What a statement.
it's such an obvious thing that's bad for you. And if you can't
Listen
make a
to this.
decision to change this, how can I trust your other decision making skills?
That's so good. For real.
Keep a plant.
You're not the first person that said that, though.
No, I mean, it's obvious. Like, you got to think about why we start eating bacon in the first place.
Listen to this.
Edward Bernays was a psychologist, and he ran propaganda schemes for corporations. Mm-hmm. So what they wanted to do was to increase the sale of pork and bacon. So he created propaganda that connected it to a good breakfast. So he actually had people thinking that it was healthy, right? So people eat bacon today, a part of their ritual, because of capitalism, right? And so all these people have died of diabetes, high blood pressure,
capitalism
levels, things of that nature, because somebody, a psychologist, decided to hack the mind of people and manipulate them into buying a product. What food should black people stop eating?
Hack the mind of the people for capitalism. Do y'all see what is happening and what has happened for decades on top of hundreds of years? Do y'all see this? And we participate in it as if it's the only way to live life. And it is not. We have to look. I stopped eating meat. I ain't judging you if you still eat meat. I get the struggle. I know it's a struggle, but it is just a decision. It is just a decision. I mean, because when you stop doing something, when you break a habit, like when I stopped drinking, we can say it took me time to do that, or we could say it happened overnight, because the last drink I took, I know I didn't drink after that. We could say it was an overnight thing. It just depends on what you put in your mind. But it didn't happen overnight for me, because I kept putting in my mind, I'm gonna stop drinking. I'm gonna stop drinking. I'm gonna stop drinking. I'm like, I'm gonna stop drinking. I had my moments where I would stop for a while, and then I, drink here and there, start back up, and then stop for a while. But then I said, you know what, this is it. So we just have to make a decision. So you can perpetuate the problem of you eating unhealthy and say, I'm, in due time, or I'm gonna get there. No, get there. It's a decision at the period. I want to share something else about artificial intelligence, and then I'm gonna close out because I'm going well over my minutes. No, not that one. Okay, so man, and I wanted to share my girl Eternal Zion. So I'm not gonna touch on artificial intelligence, but there are other types of intelligence. Let me slow down. I'm trying to hurry up and close out. There are other types of intelligence, and 19 Keys did touch on that. So I would say if you're on Instagram, please follow 19 Keys. I think it's 19_keys. He has a tour where he is, it's a high level conversation tour, and he's got some phenomenal people hitting that stage, and just being around that energy is going to elevate you. Just being in the room, just following him, just watching him, listening to the things that he teaches on, it's going to elevate you, elevate your thinking. Let me play this one real quick. This is my girl.
So you ordered a secure party creditor filing service with me. I just want to ask you, how do you feel like it went?
It went awesome. Like, you really know your stuff. Like, you taught me some things today.
Thank you so much. And would you recommend it to other people?
I surely would. I actually just recommended it to my best friend, so he'll be contacting me soon.
So she's helping people form their trust declaration, UCC financing statement, legal demand notice, trust certification, W8BEN, SS4, and so much more. Now, I purchased her book, and I have yet to go through all of it, but it is some information for your rump. Freedom takes a village to manifest. The more we all are free, the more we free ourselves, the more we all free ourselves and learn these things, the less the government has control. A trust is also a private bank. So if you don't have a trust, please inbox me. I will get you in the right direction. Please, please, please. It is critical. It is crucial to
That's
your
great
being.
to hear. Thank you so much. All right.
Now, this one, we can all be free if our assets were protected under a private trust that we can utilize to discharge debts, use negotiable instruments, and properly sue other establishments. So I was just talking to my cousin last night. And so she's got some services that she's doing that is getting her money back off of some debts she had. Now, I heard of getting rid of debt, but getting money back off of the debt, where they do that at? So I'm telling y'all, get yourself around the right people, around the right knowledge, around the right information, around some education, and people who are doing things that are unheard of. An irrevocable trust is harder to breach than if you're a citizen belonging to a state that has jurisdiction over your statutory law. File your paperwork for you. File your paperwork. She works with everyone, including those who may need a little extra time. We can all be free. All you have to do is apply yourself. Stop being lazy. Stop following these traditional statistical nonsense in this society. It's not for us. It's for capitalism. He said he was a psychologist who tricked the mind into thinking bacon was for part of a healthy nutritional breakfast. All right, y'all, I'm getting ready to get out of here. She is the only one teaching and offering all of the paperwork you need to not only defend yourself, but protect your estate and move all assets into your trust so the government can't seize anything or unlawfully detain you without consequence. We need land. We need more land. We got some land. We need more land. So I'm putting together a strategy, an investment strategy group where we put our money together to get land. We need more land and we need to start growing and manufacturing our own. So I'm gonna close out with that. Right. I hope y'all got something out of this today. My midday motivation that happens here every Monday, 12:15 p.m. Eastern. Love y'all to life. Listen, it's never too late to be great. And I highly suggest you start today. And for my ladies, educate, elevate, slay. You know, we gotta look good doing it. And remember, it's all about me. Motivate, educate, elevate. Please do no longer procrastinate. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Step out there and be great. Peace. Peace, peace.